This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Welcome to our 8-Cuff House studio home, the country music living room, if you will. Sitting here on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza in Nashville, Tennessee. And when you tour the Grand Ole Opry, you get to tour our place now as a part of your ticket. And you also get to be a part of our interactive museum exhibit called Behind the Airwaves, which is adjacent to the studio here. Charlie Mattos, producer. Andy Nye, studio director. Jeff Roberts, master control at the Opry House. Watching us all over the world. Glad you're there. At Circle Country Television, you can link to your favorite streaming platform too. Kelly Sutton's Entertainment. I'm Billy Boy Cody, and since I saw you last, I got a star in the Music City Walk of Fame.
Yes, you did.
And you hosted.
I'm just saying, I think they should give you like a medallion that you can wear so you can walk around and be like, I got a star. Look at me. I mean, seriously, the one that they gave you, though, was so big and heavy. Yeah. I was thinking, that's really cool. We should hang it up somewhere. It's too heavy to hang on the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on a bookshelf at the house,
there
I think.
There you go.
I'd be on Etsy making my own, create my own. They do it for you. Yeah.
Maybe we do that. Yeah, congratulations. Yesterday was really special. Our Music City Walk of Fame here in Nashville is really something cool. If you haven't seen it, think about like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but ours is everybody that has made a significant contribution to our fair city, including Mr. Bill Cody.
And Colin Reed, our chairman. Jimmy Buffett, who was inducted by Mac McAnally yesterday, who I could listen to him talk.
He's fun.
He never sang a note. And then the Fairfield Four, my daughter Hannah in the green room went up to him and said, I have to tell you a story. My dad took my brother Luke and I on an Oregon Trail vacation some years ago, and we were listening to I guess it was his first album, major label album anyway, just over and over. It Head Back Where I Come From and Down the Road, and Hannah had the whole thing memorized, and she went up to tell him, she said, and when we returned the rental car, we left the cassette, the Mac McAnally cassette, my absolute favorite, in the rental car, never to be heard again.
Oh.
Well, of course, we got another one.
Okay.
But Mac McAnally, the cassette years.
You know what? That's the best marketing, though, because whoever was getting that car next just happened to play it and said, who's this?
That's true.
It's the best.
And his daughter, Jimmy's daughter, Delaney, accepted. After Mac's induction, and I was inducted by Larry Wayne Gatlin, a Nashville Songwriter Hall of Famer and dear friend, and your host for Opry Country Classics in a few hours tonight at 7 o'clock with Trace Adkins in the spotlight. And it's Darryl Worley's birthday today.
Yep.
Celebrity birthdays in country music. And Dan Rogers, executive producer at the Grand Ole Opry, has got a birthday today.
We're going to show you some of the video from yesterday at the Walk of Fame ceremony, so stay tuned for that. Coming up, entertainment headlines. Also, Kelsey at Madison Square Garden. Y'all, this was the scene. It was really, really special. I've got some video from that. I was there just a few hours before we did the Walk of Fame ceremony. And this is really cool. I just found this. If you run out of candy on Halloween, there's a rescue squad that will bring you some. I'm looking at you, Charlie Mattos, because you have the most trick-or-treaters of all of us.
And I've yet to buy candy. That's one of my missions on the ride home.
Okay.
So what's your go-to?
Along with milk, bread, strawberries, and blueberries. Once I mentioned to Renee I was going to stop at the store.
That's right.
So my trip just got much more expensive.
Well, there you go.
So what's your go-to candy when you buy?
For me? Oh, gosh. I like the little mini Snickers, and I'm a sucker for malted milk balls, so I'll get the Whoppers. And each one comes with like four little Whoppers.
Yeah. So you get the kids what you like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because there's leftovers.
100%. That's right. That's right.
I'm reminded of my parents because this was the greatest generation. My father would have been 102 this year. It was World War II. Your dad, World War II.
Oh,
Charlie.
yeah. Played this in our high school jazz band. Never knew these things had lyrics sometimes, when you only play instrumental versions of things. So
You played the sax, and the sax player gets the chicks, so I'm sure that was the case in...
It's not there's exceptions to every rule, Dan. I think I might have been the exception to that rule. Yeah.
Erik Stabnau is here, conductor of the legendary Glen Miller Orchestra, playing the Franklin Theater Sunday, 3 o'clock, touring the country, performing since 1938. I referenced the greatest generation. Thank you for coming to see us this
Thanks
morning.
for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And sharing the Glen Miller story as well as the music.
Yes.
It's rather, let's start at the end. And the mysterious disappearance and what went on back in December of, 44?
Yeah, December of 44, Glen had joined the military from 42 to 44, of course, during World War II. And his plane went down over the English Channel, which was a bit of a mystery at the time because they never found the plane, they never found the wreckage. So he was listed as missing in action for a while. But of course, he had led his own orchestra before that for years and years. He formed it in 1938. So the current Glen Miller Orchestra is really a continuation of that same band, just with different musicians, but playing the same great music.
And knowing you were coming, he was scheduled on a military flight, but it got canceled because of bad weather in France. So he took what they called a casual flight.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't
the
authorized.
Story. Exactly, it wasn't authorized. Yeah, the weather was real bad. I think there was just a few folks, 3 people on that plane, Glen, the pilot, and another gentleman. And it went down, and he was trying to get there ahead of time to set up for, I believe they had a show in Paris that he was going to get there early to set up for. Plane went down, and of course, was never seen again.
How old was he?
I think he was around, that's a good question, I think he was around 40.
He was 40.
Yeah. Oh, he was. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, and what a legacy of music for someone who passed so young. We're still singing and listening today.
I know, it's amazing. He was only a band leader for a few years, like half a decade, the late 30s into the earlier mid 40s, and he had all these number 1 hits, all this big popular music. So that's part of the reason I think this thing still exists as it does today.
And you got started on a saxophone as well, right? We
I
were
did.
talking about this.
Yes.
How old were you when you
Yeah.
started playing music?
I think I was about 10 years old in grade school. Yeah, I started on the saxophone and eventually picked up like the clarinet and flute, as a lot of sax players do. Yep.
Who was your sax go-to guy?
Oh, that's good.
Because in Nashville, it would have been Boots Randolph.
Boots Randolph, yeah. I really listened to a lot of the jazz guys early on. I loved a guy named Stan Getz. But I listened to a bit of everything. Yeah, a bit of everything.
Coltrane at all? Or is that a little too out there?
No, absolutely,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, absolutely. You got to love him, for sure.
So when did you come to the Glen Miller work?
Yeah, it was about 7 years ago. In the summer of 2017, I joined the band, and really this band tours like almost nonstop every year, show after show after show. So I joined in the summer of 2017. And I thought I'd stay on for about 6 months at that point. But I just loved it. I loved the touring. I loved the shows. I loved the music. So, it's been over 7 years. And I've been the music director of the group since about 2021.
We were just talking about, the generation that loved this. My grandmother, I remember, would play this music. But then when I hear it, I'm like, oh, I love this sound. So what are the crowds like when you look out and you see people? Obviously, you probably have some octogenarians that are in the crowd, but then I would think that you would have some younger folks too that are really discovering this and loving it.
Yeah, it's pretty mixed. We have an older demographic to some extent, but a lot of times it's like the children of the greatest generation who say they grew up with this music in the house, or it's just younger folks that have gotten into this music, or we meet a lot of people that first got into swing dance, and this is great dance music. So there's really kind of a mixed crowd and mixed interests out there in the crowd as well.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
very
Ray
cool.
Stevens brought a version to the country world of In the Mood, and Bette Midler and Manhattan Transfer. They come to mind. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy was a wonderful version from Bette Midler.
Yeah,
Still gets played. So that generation would have been a new generation introduced to Glen Miller music.
That's a great point, too. Yeah, you're right. And there's a lot of great instrumentals, but a lot of great vocals from this era. So it's always fun to hear different vocalists take on this stuff from the 30s and 40s, even like to the modern day. Yeah.
Well, you referenced how busy you are. You're going to be in Franklin Theater, at the beautiful Franklin Theater in the Square on Sunday,
Yes.
but you got Chattanooga and Decatur before you even get to Sunday. You guys are busy.
We do. Yeah. The band plays, I think a typical year for us might be like almost 200 shows in a lot of years. So it really is, it's nonstop. Day after day. So a week for us might be like 5 shows in the week, and then a few days that we just travel in between. So we're excited to be back in Franklin. That's almost an annual show for the band. So it's a great fit, a great theater for us.
How much more of the country have you seen in the last 7 years than you saw in the previous years of your life?
Yeah, all of it. I've seen everything now. We've been everywhere. Whether we wanted to or not, we've seen all of it.
And you've got Crystal Gale with you.
Absolutely.
And I was wondering, is this, every town that you go to, someone sings with you? And you said, no, this is kind of rare.
Exactly. Yeah, this is very rare for us. We travel with the same personnel on the tour bus show after show after show. So to have a guest like Crystal is really unique, and especially someone like Crystal is so exciting for us.
So when you get to Chattanooga, how many times do you play Chattanooga Choo Choo during the course of that?
That's right.
I was just making the set list for that, and maybe a couple. We might do a couple. Yeah.
We're gonna open and close with it. baby.
Exactly. We'll leave it open for the encore.
Well,
We
and
might come back
Pennsylvania
to
has to get Pennsylvania 65000, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Kalamazoo, Michigan gets Kalamazoo. Yep.
You see the album there if you're watching on Circle Country. Available wherever you get your music. Moonlight Serenade, In the Mood, All I Do Is Dream of You, Sunrise Serenade, Long Ago Far Away, I Get By, Speak Low, Pennsylvania 65000, Charlie referenced, I Know Why and So Do You, Adios at Last, and Chattanooga Choo Choo, Sentimental Journey. That's where we'll close this morning. Erik Stabnau, thank you for coming to see us.
Appreciate it.
Erik's the conductor of the legendary Glen Miller Orchestra. They will be playing the Franklin Theater this weekend, Sunday at 3 o'clock.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Hey, what do you want to do for Halloween? Let's go someplace you didn't even know you wanted to go, courtesy of tntrailsandbyways.com. I typed in Halloween in the search mode this morning, and here's what comes up just immediately. Clarksville's Halloween Spook Fest, Sweetwater's Historic Halloween, Halloween Overnight Ghost Hunt, Haunted Hotel Red Boiling Spring.
Okay.
Red Boiling, as the locals call it. Falloween in Livingston. They've combined fall and Halloween into a Falloween event.
Make a season out of Halloween. That's right.
And here in Nashville, Haunted Museum Storytelling Festival. So many things. You can just pull them up, type in a keyword at tntrailsandbyways.com.
Well, you know, I have a penchant for historic cemeteries, so something about cemeteries and Halloween too. So you could type that in as well. What I love about the website, though, is if you live in Nashville and you're just looking for something out of the box. I mean, you've done all the things you know you're supposed to do, but let's just think of something different. It's a fantastic website, and if you're coming to visit us for a week or two, if you watch it on circlecountry.com, it is indispensable. And if you go scroll down on the page a little bit, you get to sign up for your Travel Like a Local guidebook, and you get one of these with the guidebook. Look at this. Look at what I got right here. It's this little show and tell. This was Google Maps before Google Maps, and Bill is the only one who knows how to use one of these.
Ride with me.
I can fold it back, but that's all I can do.
First thing that comes up on a cemetery search, Charlie, Old Jonesboro Cemetery Tour, Jonesboro, Tennessee.
Awesome.
Our oldest town, I believe, in the state of Tennessee is Jonesboro. It goes way back, and then talks about the old cemetery, the old city cemetery here in Nashville, the oldest continuously operated public cemetery in Nashville.
Right off of 2nd Avenue, yeah. Well,
1820.
There's history in that place.
Man.
Yeah.
And where do we find that? Same place you can. Get off the beaten path and stand out on the scenic route at tntrailsandbyways.com. Kelly Sutton, what you working over there, girl? You just typing away
I know,
and reading?
I'm trying to figure this out. So it is Halloween, and for many of us, we already have our Halloween candy and we're ready to go. Some of us do not. I'm looking at you, Charlie Mattos.
I know, it's escaped me. I'm driving in this morning and the light bulb went off. I'm like, we do not have Halloween candy. So that's now on my list of things to get on my way home.
So here's a story that I needed to share for everyone. If for some reason you have forgotten your candy, or if you just run out, M&M's has you covered. It's the M&M's Rescue Squad.
Of course.
Oh.
So yeah, you can go to M&M Halloween Rescue Squad, or you just go type in M&M Rescue Squad and Google it, and they'll send you the page. You have to put in where you live, and then it will tell you whether or not this is available. They will disperse someone with candy to your doorstep. Now, you have to pay for it. It's not free, but you can check and see if it's available, and they'll try to get it to you within, quote, minutes.
So this is the Uber Eats or DoorDash equivalent for Halloween.
Correct. But of course, M&M's is really smart. They're like the M&M's Rescue Squad. It's basically DoorDash, I think.
Do we have a favorite M&M? Because the M&M franchise has expanded. They used to be just plain, and then they added peanut. And for the longest time, those were the only options. But now you got
the caramel?
The caramel are fantastic.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah. The peanut butter is quite good.
Peanut butter is good too.
And the almond are huge.
Yeah.
You don't get as many, but they're big.
They're really good. Yeah, I like all of those. So again, if you're running out of stuff, the best thing to do, M&M's Rescue Squad, and get some candy to your door.
I love the answer to Charlie's question of which is your favorite, and Kelly goes, all of them.
Yes, all of them. all of them.
I'm a peanut guy.
I thought you were going to tell me.
Just no standard
I
peanut
honestly,
guy.
for a second, thought you were talking about color. Like, what color M&M do you like?
Oh.
I'm like, they all taste the same, Charlie. What are you talking about?
We had a host at our talk host at my station in Miami that for some reason hated the green M&Ms, and I got him M&Ms one time and did it so every M&M was green in the whole package.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah, that's
you remember the
evil.
days, and I don't know if this was true or not,
The rider, how they would put it on their rider.
Yeah.
I want
bands
green.
would put it on their all certain color M&Ms.
Yeah, I only want green M&Ms, or take out all the green M&Ms. Do you know, I heard that, and the reason that was supposedly in there, and I can't remember what band, was it Kiss? It was like a big rock band, but they had pyro on stage with them. They had fire shooting up. So they would write something very specific in there saying, hey, we want a bowl of green M&Ms in our dressing room. And if they showed up and the green M&Ms were not there, they knew that they had not read the entire rider, and they were not going to go on stage because they were afraid the pyro wasn't taken care of in the right way.
Van Halen.
It was Van Halen. I knew it was a rock band, but it was basically, it wasn't to be a diva. It was to see if the people were actually reading the entire thing and following it so that they would be safe on stage.
And theirs were no brown.
No brown
Yeah,
M&Ms.
and boy,
Okay.
then that's the bulk of them, right?
Right? I mean, I understand where it became legend that they were being divas, but it was all for a good cause. Okay, coming up, entertainment headlines. We're going to tell you all about Kelsey Ballerini at Madison Square Garden. We've got video of Bill Cody getting his star on the Country Music City Walk of Fame, I should say. And Ashley McBride tells us her favorite Halloween memory. All that and more coming up. Well, how about we talk about your star? Can we do that?
Okay,
Let's do it. Bill Cody has a star on the Music City Walk of Fame. It happened yesterday. We surprised him here on the show. It was about a month ago, a month and a half ago. And we told him that he was going to be going into this year's class along with our friend Colin Reed, Jimmy Buffett, and the Fairfield Four.
And ultimately, Luke Combs got an invite, but couldn't make it happen.
We'll talk about Luke at a later time. He gets enough shine. We don't have to shine on him right now. We'll get to him later.
Too much star power for him. That's what I'm saying.
Too much. There's too much. We were like, you know what? Let's put that in for 2025. You got enough going on in 24. But yesterday, beautiful ceremony. We were there, and of course, Larry Gatlin got a chance to honor you as well. Here's a little video that our friend Aaron Cooper put together. Bill has set an entirely new standard for the job of host. He's receiving his star on the Walk of Fame today in honor of his 30th year at WSM Radio.
What is that incredible, wonderful, kind of sort of planned chaos that is backstage at the Grand Ole Opry? Never one time have I seen this man be anything but gracious and kind and smile and say hello to people.
So to all of you, anyone who has shared this journey over the last 53 years and 30 of them at WSM and the Grand Ole Opry, thank you for making everything mean something in my life. I'm honored.
Well done, well said.
That's the
Now-
first time I've seen that back.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, isn't it incredible to see?
What was very incredible was to see Larry Gatlin invite himself to become the fifth member of now the Fairfield Five in the green room before going out to do the ceremony.
Did he sing for him? I'm surprised he didn't try to get him to start singing.
That harmony,
Oh.
that Gatlin blood
Yeah.
thing came out. So.
Yeah, that was it. Congratulations. Of
Thank
course,
you.
the Music City Walk of Fame, if you're coming into town, go visit, first of all, the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, because it's incredible, and that is a must-see for anybody that's coming to Nashville. But then directly across from that, there's a beautiful green space, and we now have 108 stars representing some famous folks and friends here in Music City, and you can see them, and you can walk all over Bill Cody.
Thank you for that. And thank you for jumping in there after the surprise that I was getting a
course.
star that you were going to host. And Charlie was in the audience along with the WSM staff.
That was really
I saw
nice.
Annie Nye out there, and Aaron Cooper, and Eric Markham, and Margie McGahey, and just
Whole team, man. We
And then
were
the
representing.
RHP folks, Arriving Hospitality Properties folks, were well represented.
The website lists all the stars alphabetically, but since you've been there for everyone, do you remember who star number one was? Who the very first star was?
Fisk Jubilee Singers.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Wow.
I knew they were in the first class. I was
I
thinking.
think I'm almost positive. they're
Well, we'll
number
just
one.
go with that. You said it so
But
authoritatively.
they're the reason that we're known as Music City, so that only makes sense.
I'm trying to remember. I want to say Hank Jr., maybe Ronnie Millsap. In the first class, Reba comes to mind, Emmylou Harris.
Yeah.
If not in the first class, the first and second classes. I may be combining them, just going from memory.
You were hosting. I was always there with a crew filming.
Oh, I remember well.
Yeah, I'd be back there on the riser waving to everybody and watching it all go down.
Yeah, it got to be I wouldn't start until I looked back and Kelly was ready to go. And when Kelly was ready to go, then
that's her cue.
That was
floor
my cue.
director.
Give him the high sign. We're doing it. Hey, I do want to give a little bit of praise to our friend Kelsey Ballerini, who sold out Madison Square Garden. This was so cool to see her in New York. She has the new album out. It's Patterns. This is the first time that she's ever played Madison Square Garden. She said, this was, what did she say? She said, it's clean for me. She hasn't opened there. She had seen shows there, but she'd never been on stage to perform. So we were there to watch it. It was a one-night only event, and it was incredible. This was the photo op that you got to do with all the baggage, which is the front of her cover of Patterns. And I think that Amber said this is what it would have looked like if Joyce wouldn't have kept us from the merch stand, because we kept buying T-shirts and sweatshirts and hats. But here's a little sample of Kelsey on stage at Madison Square Garden.
At a sold-out Madison Square Garden. This time last year, I would not have believed you.
She was really just blown away. It was an incredible show. Just to let everyone know, if they're looking forward to going to see her starting next year on Kelsey Ballerini Live Tour, tickets are on sale now. She's going to be here at Bridgestone Arena. That's going to be on the 31st of January. But lasers, pyro, confetti cannons, like everything that you would want from a big stage show happened. The back scenery was gorgeous. And I know that this was tailored for that show specifically, but a lot of those elements are going to be making it into the tour.
And I love that she's making it a girls' night out, because Macy Peters and Marin Taylor are opening all the shows. So
yes.
Really great night
And I
of
got
music.
to see Marin and talk to Marin, and she is over the moon. 5 new dates just got added to this, I think either last night or this morning. So if you weren't sure if she was coming, double check Kelsey's website. All of those tickets are on sale. Go see her.
I've just pulled it up because I was looking for an attendance number for Madison Square Garden, which I think is like 19.5 or something like that. But Kansas City, Omaha, St. Louis, Tulsa, Greenville, South Carolina, Charleston, North Carolina, all added.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, let's talk about our favorite costumes real quick, because it's Halloween. Over the years, I know we've all had some favorites. Charlie, your favorite costume?
Well, only because it was provided for me, but I still do wear it at home every once in a while. Got to be Chelvis.
There it is.
Yes.
Charlie as Elvis. Bill, we don't have one for you.
Yeah, you do.
Do we?
I found one.
You did?
Yeah, it's like the only one.
Oh, it's yes, you were 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, Rebecca's idea last year.
Trunk or treat.
That was trunk or treat at church at Orlinda Baptist Church last year, and everybody got in. This year it was I didn't participate, but it was Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay.
And,
Annie, what was yours? Did you send one in? There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, are you Jelly Roll?
No, Post Malone.
Post Malone. Okay.
Well, they're
interchangeable.
Yes, they're very similar
Interchangeable.
looks.
Yes. Okay, and mine was a few years back, but I was Dolly Parton one year. There it is. There's my
Wow.
Dolly
That's
Parton
strong.
wig.
Hello,
yeah,
Dolly.
hello, Dolly.
Dolly.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Send us your pictures. We want to see them.
Let's watch and listen to the Oak Ridge Boys live from the stage of the Grand Ole.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
Sean McConnell is here. Been too long since we've seen you, and we moved, and you are in. You gave it the best nickname. You said it's like you guys have your own tree house now in the Acuff House on the Opry Plaza.
Yeah.
We do. I feel like I'm part of a private party here. This is swanky and cool. I like it.
And that entrance is where people will go in this weekend to see you on Saturday night playing the Grand Ole Opry with Sarah Evans. We've got Riders in the Sky, Connie Smith, Bill Anderson, Shane McAnally, Brandy Clark, Larry Fleet, and you.
I love it. I was just riding with Brandy Clark yesterday.
Did you know she was going to be there, Sarah?
I did it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have. This is great. I didn't know Sarah was gonna be there either. This is
Did
gonna
we
be
finish
fun
what
night.
we started writing yesterday?
We did.
Did you?
Oh, maybe
We
you
did.
should perform it live on the
I
Opry.
mean-
Just to give it a big old debut. Come on.
Listen, if I was brave enough to do that, I might try it. But I might play some ones I know a little bit better. We'll
Probably
see.
better, yeah.
Next time though.
Okay. That's good.
So take us back to your Middle Tennessee State days when you spent your early years in Massachusetts, and
yeah.
then your family moved to Georgia.
Yep.
How did you decide Middle Tennessee State was where you would go to school? Was it the music program?
It was,
You
yeah.
found out about it and said, "Hey, I got to go."
If I had to go to college, it was going to be music, and it just seemed like, I don't know, the place to be.
So I came, and I'm glad because I met my wife the second year there, got married really young, and just kept doing music, stayed in town, and yeah.
The connections that you have in town, did a lot of those start at MTSU? Because we know that there are so many people, Chris Young and so many other people who graduated from there and were part of that program. So what were some of those fostering relationships that you still carry through to today?
Most of them were just friendships of musicians that I met. Like a lot of my friends who I'm still close with and that still play music. So yeah, a lot of guys that we were in and out of bands together and friendships like that. Industry, not as much. I feel like that happened more when I just started getting out there and doing it. But definitely learned a lot of good lessons, and there's great teachers and a lot of great music.
Were there some bad band names?
Man.
I love hearing the band names, especially
it
when
is a whole thing.
You're like, oh, I can't believe we had a band named.
Yeah.
Was there one that in particular you were like, this was kind of corny, but...
Man, nothing comes to mind that I could probably say on the radio.
Okay, we'll look it up. We'll find it.
As a songwriter, who gave you your first cut?
Oh, actually, my first cut was David Nail, I believe. Oh. A song called Looking for a Good Time that I wrote a long, long time ago. He found a live version of it. But I believe that was my first cut.
And then I see credits for Meat Loaf and Tim McGraw, Martina McBride, Buddy Miller, Rascal Flatts, Scotty McCreery, Grand Ole Opry member, Jimmy Wayne, Brothers Osborne, on and on the list goes. And in outside country as well.
Yeah. I didn't know what a publishing deal really was until I went to MTSU.
You know what? I want you to explain what it is.
Okay.
Because a lot of people hear that term a lot from artists, but don't know what it means exactly.
So basically, it's your job is writing songs. You get to wake up, and there's a company was Warner Chappell at the time. This was probably 15, 16 years ago. And when you got a publishing deal, you get paid to write, it works so many different ways, but you meet up with these bands that you've been loving, and you get to write songs with them. And, for a long time, it was like 5 days a week. You wake up, you write a song, you meet someone new, you do the thing. And it's kind of a wild way to make a living, but it's really been a lot of fun and taken me a lot of cool places.
Was co-writing an acquired skill? Because it's probably something you don't do when you first start writing songs.
Yeah, it was. It still is. I write a lot by myself, but I do a lot of co-writing, and it was very new to me for sure, but I do enjoy it, and I've met some just really, really dear friends and creators over the years through it.
Well, you referenced Brandy Clark. That's pretty strong off the top right there.
So where would a writing appointment with Brandy take place? Do you have a special spot or a couple
I do.
Of places
I actually have a studio next to my house where I do most of my writing, so we were out there.
You're out in the country with the farm life. The Green Acres thing.
Yeah.
Compared to how you grew up.
Totally. Yeah. We got two pigs that were supposed to be miniature, but they now weigh over 300 pounds. Yeah.
So we call those semi-miniature.
Semi-miniature, yeah.
Wow.
The semi is slowly disappearing.
You can't go back and be like, you lied to me.
No.
This is too late.
No, it
What are
happened.
their names?
Niles and Daphne.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, we're big Frasier fans in our house.
It's like going to the car dealership and ordering a Miata, and they say, well, we got this Toyota Tundra for you. It's like, sure, what the hell?
Hey, there's some beautiful, smart, kind Tundras. We love them.
So what other accompaniment do we have for the pigs?
We got, our latest addition is we adopted 2 micro ponies from Wisconsin that are too old to survive, not survive the winter, but to do well in the winter. Uh-huh. So we have 2 very, very small ponies now.
At least for now they are.
Yeah, for now. When they turn 27, maybe they'll blow up.
Right.
So like the size of a Great Dane?
I mean, you can't see this on the radio,
Coffee
and I
table
can't remember what a
size?
Great Dane looks like.
Yeah.
But it's like a big dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, do they come in the house?
We try to get them in the house. They're a little spooked, but we got to train them. But yeah, they'll be in the house.
I want to come over.
Listen,
I'm addicted. I have to see these horses now.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Okay.
Hey, so is your brand new album. It comes out in February with a lead single. The title track is called Skin. And the quote I saw, and I want you to explain this before we play it this morning, you said, It almost took me 40 years to figure out that the call was coming from inside the house. What does that mean?
You're going to lob me the big one right here in the morning, aren't you?
Well, it's Halloween after all. The call was coming from inside the house.
Ooh. I feel like that is kind of encapsulates the whole record, really. It's just that thought. Maybe it's a certain age or going through enough things, or who knows how we all get there, or if we all get there, but it's just the thought that no one's going to show up and do the internal work for you, and that a lot of our demons are our own voices. And this whole record is it's a big deep dive into, as we all do, trying to figure out why am I here? Who am I? What am I doing?
And did you do it in like 3.5 minutes here? You think you got to figure it out now?
Totally. I have no more questions.